Welcome to the first official Care Bear Fantasy League weekly podcast review. We're going to dive into some scores, some top players, some bottom players, some trade reviews, missed starts, injury news, and the league board. And eventually we'll look ahead to next week's schedule. So let's get right into it. To start, we have to address our week one shit king, and that is Big Juice. Team Laporte being our lowest scorer at only 121 points. Side note, Big Juice was the only person in the league of 8 to not play 2 QBs. That's what that offensive personnel slot is for, Juice. I suggest doing it. Opposite that, we have myself as this week's leading scorer. Team Little Uzi Hurts put up 178 points. Coincidentally, that was this week's blowout. My team playing Juice was a score differential of 57 points. Following that, our best matchup of the week was Ryan's Matt Areza Party versus Andrew's Monster Cooks. Close game all the way down to Monday night. We had a 128 to 131.56 score in favor of Ryan. Broncos country really pulling that one out for you on Monday night. Shout out Russ. Other games of the week included Bailey's McAfrican Americans beating Tommy's Racing with Rugs 177.8 to 145.8. And Reggie's South Memphis Tank Destroyers beating Johnny's 4 Loco 4 Life 164.5 to 148.2. On to this week's top players. QB1, Jesus Mahomes Christ, scoring 35 points for Bailey. RB1, Saquon. He is officially back as the Giants won against the Titans, and Saquon put up 33 fantasy points again for Bailey. Receiver 1 and the overall player 1 from week 1, Justin Jefferson, hitting the gritty 2 times on the Packers as they blew him out. He scored almost 40 points at 39.4 for Tommy. Tight end 1, we have Travis Kelce putting up 26 points for myself. And defense 1 was the Pittsburgh Black Air Forces, currently unowned in the league. Who's going to pick them up? And on the exact opposite, we have the lows of the week. For this, we're looking strictly at players that got started. So we're obviously not looking at anyone, put up 0 points but sat on a bench or was on the waiver wire. That's no fun. We're looking at the bad starts made by us across the league. Starting off, we have back-to-back MVP, Mr. Ayahuasca himself, Aaron Rodgers, putting up 3.7 for Andy. Tough one. Next up, Casper the Ghost, Cam Akers, putting up 0. A big donut for Tommy. Following, we're going to group together the receiver and tight end as they both came from the same team. Big Jews had Bobby Trees at only 2.3 and Dawson Knox at 1.5. Not even getting 4 points from 2 players is tough. And lastly, they say defense wins championships, and it's not looking good for Andy as he started the New Orleans Saints, who struggled against the Falcons and only got 3 points. Moving on is our trade review, and we have a lot to cover as it was week 1, so we have to cover all the trades heading up to the season. Now, this segment will not always happen, as trades don't happen every week, but let's hop right into it. And to start, we have the first official trade of the league between Ryan and myself, where I traded him Darnell Mooney in return for Rashad Penny. So far, Rashad Penny has outscored Mooney by nearly 10 points, though it is not a fair comparison as Darnell Mooney was playing in a monsoon week 1. Next, we had a trade between Tom and Bailey. Bailey receiving Dalton Schultz, his starting tight end, and J.K. Dobbins, a potential flex running back. In return, Tommy got Darren Waller, who is since gone. We'll get to that later. And Melvin Gordon, a handcuff to his RB1, Javonte Williams. Next, Andrew and myself swapped Christian Kirk and Brandon Cooks. So far, very even trade. They are both starting receivers on a bad team. Very similar situations, though. Christian Kirk did outscore Brandon Cooks by 2 in week 1. Next, we have an absolute class move by Bailey, capitalizing on the Dameon Pierce hype. Whew. He got me. I traded Juju Smith-Schuster to Bailey for Dameon Pierce. And so far, Juju did outscore in week 1, though it has not been too relevant as neither of them started for me or Bailey. On to the biggest and potentially most lopsided trade thus far. I traded Ryan, Mike Evans, and Jonathan Taylor, who in week 1 put up 45 points. Not bad, but in return, I had a steal. Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, Leonard Fournette, combining for 72 points. That is a difference of 27 points after just 1 week. Tough trade. Hopefully it gets better for Ryan. Next, we have a deal between me and Tommy. I traded Kyle Pitts for Courtland Sutton. So far, Sutton has outscored Pitts by about 7, though Pitts is young and poised for a breakout. We'll see how that goes later on. Next, another trade between Bailey and myself. I traded him this week's QB1, Jesus Mahomes Christ, for Jalen Hurts. Call it a homer move, but we'll see how it plays out. Not good thus far. Lastly, and our most recent trade, Tommy sent Darren Waller and Chase Claypool to Reggie for David Montgomery, as he was lacking in the running backs after a tough start by Cam Akers, like we mentioned. And after week 1, it's not looking that great still, as Reggie got Oakland, or Las Vegas, the second target for Derek Carr, and Chase Claypool, he might play a week or 2 for Reggie. Let's be honest, he's probably not going to play with an 8-man league. It's a pretty stacked league. And in return, Tommy got David Montgomery, who looks like he might be out of play calling in Chicago, as Khalil Herbert looked to take over in the second half. All right, now we're going to look at 3 players who had big weeks this week, but unfortunately were benched by their managers. Tough scene, hate to see it, hate to see a lot of points on the bench, but it happens. We're just going to highlight them. First off, we got Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints. Can't guard Mike is officially back, 2 touchdowns. He put up 22.7, was the receiver 8 on the week, and Tommy left him on the bench. Next, RB5. He's still around. Cordarrelle Patterson, 22.6. Juice on the bench. And lastly, welcome to fantasy football. Finally, 2 years late, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, RB6, 22.4. Ryan left you on the bench. I don't blame him. It's been a tough 2 years coming, but you finally made a debut. Hopefully it continues. On some injury news, we got a lot. Just going to run through it real quick. Kamara, questionable with some bruised ribs. Godwin, questionable with a hamstring. Dobbins, still questionable to return off the ACL. Juju, questionable with a shoulder. Higgins, questionable with concussion. Elijah Mitchell, expected out for up to 8 weeks with a sprained MCL. May my Jeff Wilson truthers stand up. Keenan Allen, doubtful for Thursday night with a hamstring injury. George Kittle is still questionable with the groin injury, but he is hoping to practice tomorrow on Wednesday. Dak has a broken thumb. Doctors say he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Jerry Jones only says 4. We'll see who's right. But shout out to the Eagles, looking like they're going to run away with the division. Najee Harris, questionable with an ankle injury, though he personally stated on the radio that he is going to play on Sunday. Looking around the league, plenty of talent on the waiver wire, and I wish everyone good luck in picking up who they want. On to the league board. We have a couple announcements, a couple trade offers. Bailey would like to thank Tommy for his first win of the season. Tommy, me personally, I'm not taking that. Andrew would like to call out Jews. Check your trades. Tommy also mentioned Cam Akers is officially on the block. Whoever wants 0 points, get at him. Tommy also would like to leave a message, as there's only a few things I love more than football: God, titties, and America. That being said, if I don't win next week, I'm killing myself. That's great to hear around the league. We might have some more. I'm seeing some notifications on the phone, but the podcast already started. I'm sorry. And lastly, we're going to look ahead to week 2 as my Little Uzi Hurts plays Johnny's Four Loco for life. Johnny looking for his first win of the season. Bailey's McAfrican Americans play Ryan's Matt Areza Party, both 1-0 teams. Someone's coming out with a loss, someone's coming out 2-0. We'll see who it is. Next, Reggie's South Memphis Taint Destroyers. Team name is great. Love it. He's going to play Juice's team, Team Laporte. Let's get a name on that, Jews. And lastly, Tommy's Racing with Rugs playing Andy's Monster Cooks. There is 2 0-1 teams looking for their first wins of the year. Someone's going to be 0-2 after this week. We'll see who it is. And that's all for this Tuesday. I will see you next week.